My guest today is Leslie Jane Seymour. Many of you may know her from her acclaimed career in magazine publishing, where she established herself as one of the
Hello, everyone.
industry's, if not
Thanks
one of
for
our
joining us.
culture's, most
If you're
respected
new to
leaders.
watching,
Her
thanks so
experience in
much
the
for
media
being
industry
here.
began
And if
early.
you're
Before her
a
leading roles as
return watcher or
editor-in-chief,
listener,
she worked as
thanks
beauty
again for
director
being
of
here.
Glamour and senior editor at
Sheri
Vogue.
Perbeck and
She went
I
on to
are
be
back. This is our third episode in this mini series of Being with the Angels, talking about concepts that they bring us. And today we're going to share some specific information about angels themselves. So I'm going to kick off our session today with asking Sheri if she has any angels that she wants to talk about.
And I do. I always do. So how are you, Jan?
I'm great. Thanks. And you?
Good. And
how are you doing?
I'm wonderful. I'm trying to stay busy here. Doing some phone readings and making some wreaths, getting a little bit into the crafts. I used to love working with the flowers. And so just trying to stay busy and positive and making connections, that sometimes with work and family, we lose touch with people. And I have been finding it interesting, before this all broke out, or at least we knew about it, the angel Shamuel had been coming into the readings quite often for at least a month prior to. Shamuel is about helping us with our relationships and or finding new relationships or building relationships. It's never a coincidence, and I always know that something is coming when a specific angel will be consistently showing up reading after reading after reading. And so it's come quite clear to me why now, we need each other so much, and to reach out to those from our past, to why she had been coming in, even prior to all of this happening. As we know, our relationships, oops, forgot to shut my phone off.
You're connected.
We support each other. So, and the power of prayer, oh my God, making these connections, the prayer groups have been enormous, like just blowing my mind, Yeah, it's really something. So, Shamuel also, believe it or not, anything to do with relationships, and that's going to help us to improve our lives, which would be jobs, which would be, let's say even in weight loss or exercise. You can call in Shamuel, right? It's sometimes we need that, like an exercise buddy, anything that has to do with relationships. So call in on, and I refer to Shamuel as she, but of course this angel is androgynous. For me, this angel I see in the feminine form because that's just, serves me. That's just for me. Her color is pink, and I'd love to read the prayer on her candle, if you don't mind, Jan, just to inspire people.
Please.
I ask for the true understanding of love in all manifestations. With your divine guidance, I will open my heart to myself and welcome true connection with others. I know that in order for my relationships to blossom, I must understand divine and unconditional love for myself. I am a part of our divine home, and my heart knows love for myself and those around me. The prayer, all the candles that I've done for the prayer really stands back to the open my heart up to myself. To me, that means obviously self-love, but also to know the power that we have within us to make these changes, right? And it's also a way for us to learn who we are what our likes are, what our dislikes are, what our shorthand is, which takes me to the topic of connecting to the angels, right? Like, for all the listeners out there, Jan and I were just talking about how when you start making a connection to the angels, sometimes we do research or we listen to angel communicators, and we walk away with listening to what they say, and that's how you connect to them, and that's who the angel is. But remember, these angels are just very special, and they have a lot of abilities, and they have perfected a lot of different topics. And it's what we need at the time, what we need to hear. What kind of a connection do they need to make with us? That which is important. So if I say, there may be another angel communicator out there that maybe hears me say she can help with relationships, the angel communicator may be like, well, I have never heard that.
Mhm.
Well, that's fine. But whatever resonates with you, you know, that's what you've got to go with. And I've also have heard other angel communicators talk about their colors. And some of them, like Michael is blue to a lot of people. Michael is straight up purple with me. That's it. But I would never discount anyone's experience that they've had with the angels in a different color or a different, a scent or something like that. But it's all in what we need, what our shorthand is, how they can get through to us is the very topic. Plus, we don't know everything. None of us do.
Mhm.
We have forgotten.
Mhm.
So these angels, let me tell you, I've had goddesses where I have seen them. I've seen angels come and I've said, okay, wait a minute. Yesterday you showed up and I thought you were an angel. Now today you're a goddess. And they told me that they've had many incarnations. They've had many experiences, just as we have. So just accept and believe what you get and just roll with it.
You know,
Um,
in one of
but
our,
so
I'm sorry.
for Oh, no, go right ahead.
I was going to connect that to something that you had said in an earlier episode. You had said that the angels respond to what each person needs. And I
Right,
translated that to the angels having a personality, for lack of a better
yeah,
word. And personality has lots
yes,
of different shades to it. So depending on the
right,
relationship an individual has with their angel that they're communicating with, that aspect of personality may show up, you know? So if I'm
abs
asking for help in a certain way, that angel's side of that personality will be given to me because that's what I'm asking for and need. Is that how you might look at it also?
yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna share a funny story with you. This was a couple summers ago. I had been upset with myself in a bathing suit, okay? And I made
No.
reference to oh, sure. And, okay, so, my bad, I'll tell you something. I was on the beach, and I saw a woman, and she was in a bikini. And of course, I went into judgment and thought to myself, wow, I would never wear a bikini. Okay. And I wouldn't. Okay. So the
Oh.
angels hear all of our thoughts.
Mhm.
So the next day, I woke up in the morning and I said to one of the angels, I want to see you with my eyes today. I want to see you in form, physical form with my eyes. And which is really silly because I'm telling you, inner eye is just as clear. Okay. But all of a sudden, this angel appeared wearing Wonder Woman's uniform and literally showed it looked like she had the love handles hanging over the bikini bottom.
Oh my goodness.
I'm telling you, I laughed so hard And I was a little ashamed of myself because I knew they had heard me the day before. And I was like, oh. And so I won't do that again. But I just laughed about it because, and the angel said to me, you humans worry too much about seeing us and hearing us the way you think that you should,
Mm-hmm.
you
Mm-hmm.
know? And I laughed and I said, yep, you're right. I'm doing just fine with my connection right now. So,
Mm-hmm.
but that was a really wake up call. And yeah, it totally, absolutely showed the angel's personality in the humor. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, really.
Mm-hmm.
And see how the angel did that to get my attention. Number one, don't go into judgment, Sheri. And the angel was reminding me of that, right? And to stop being so hard on myself, you know. So yeah, they absolutely have personalities. And Jan, I want to tell you about Raphael and all you listeners about Raphael's personality. Um, he's quite often also seen with Michael, because Michael can help us on our spiritual path. And in fact, those that are gifted, I typically see him near these people who are, have the mediumship ability. I think it's a protection thing because when we start recognizing this gift within ourselves, well, others recognize this. It's unspoken. They don't know what they're attracted to, but it's our light. And so Raphael will come in a lot of times with Michael with this topic because of self healing. So when you're on the spiritual path and you find yourself on the spiritual path, you're typically going to find yourself on the healing path, right? So here's Raphael. His color is green, absolutely beautiful, stunning green. Can be in different, I've seen many different shades of green with him. And I'll tell you what, when he comes in strong, that is all you will be able to see is the green. And so when I first met him, he would come in real serious, and because I was very serious when I started the healing path. And then I started thinking, well, why does this shit have to be so friggin' hard? Because healing can be very difficult, right? As we know. And so I started to change my perspective on the self-healing. And it was, I don't want this to be hard anymore. I've been doing it for many, many years, and it's got to be fun now. And so he started showing up wearing, it looks like a Joker's uniform, on the cards, the playing cards. So he started showing up wearing the Joker's uniform, hat and all.
Oh, gee.
And then people were coming into Angel Speak group, and some of you have probably heard me tell this story out there. Well, I had this girl come in, and I'm laughing to myself. I'm laughing with Raphael, and I'm like, "What's so funny?" And he went next to this client, and and then I saw a coffee shop. So I said to her, "Did you go to a coffee shop this morning?" She said, "Yep." And I said, "Raphael was in the car with you." And he's laughing, and I see you laughing. And she said, "Oh, yeah, I got a large coffee, got in the car, and spilt it all over me." She said, "I don't know how I did it." She said, "But my reaction was to just laugh." And I said, "That Raphael invoked you to laugh, and he was with you in the car. And to stop being so serious." And the topic was about healing, change of perspective on that,
Mm-hmm.
And so he does so often now, just comes and makes me laugh. And, when clients come in with these serious and deep readings, he will help me to lighten the topic up, or help them to lighten up, help them to change their perspective so that it's not so painful.
Mm-hmm.
So call Raphael in, and those of you who have been on the healing path and felt like they needed to take a break from it because they've worked so hard and it's been so painful, Well, listen, I'm here to tell you that it doesn't have to stay that way. It really doesn't. Call on Raphael and let him help you laugh through it. So, and, you know,
We talked about joy in the first episode we did together, and this is really all about Raphael. Your comments about Raphael are all about his dedication to making sure we understand that
right.
element of joy is the way we are
Yes,
going to get that self healing. We need that
right. Yep.
lightness in order to feel it in ourselves. Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
Jan, that's the one thing that is consistent with heaven,
Hmm.
and that's laughter. You know, my sister-in-law passed away unexpectedly, maybe 6 months ago.
I'm sorry.
And yeah, yeah, it was tragedy to the family, of course. She's an absolute great piece, though, I will tell you. But during her services, I kept hearing her laugh at the services, at the wake and the funeral. And I want to tell you, of course she had laughter, but the laugh was just the sweetest sound in my ear.
Oh,
And here I am at the funeral, and, obviously my brother and her boys were devastated, and many other people, because she was very much loved. But for me to hear how giddy, because she was pretty serious of a person. Definitely had a great personality, and did laugh. But the giddiness was just, it was just wonderful to hear. And I mean, it was as if, and she was standing right there.
mm,
So laughter is so very, very important. So,
mhm.
you know, laugh at yourself at the very least.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, and that is easy for me to laugh at myself. There's lots there too.
yeah,
Yeah. You
yeah,
mentioned
that's
Michael.
wonderful.
Uh, I call in
Yep.
Michael, separately from Raphael when I'm afraid, when I don't feel it's easy to laugh, just when I'm afraid or I need help. Um,
Yes.
and even if I don't think of it in a big protection way, when I just think, "Uh-oh," Michael's the first thought I come to. Can you talk about Michael a little bit?
Oh, sure. Um, I feel that Michael is one of my guardians. And let me say this to all of you that are listening. These archangels are our guardians. I asked Raphael how that was possible, because Raphael told me that. And he put his hand out, and I saw a snow globe in his hand. And he said, "This is what planet Earth looks like to us." So I said, "Okay, then. Now I believe you." So Michael, also has a sense of humor. And um, I feel like a child with Michael, in that he's got this real nurturing,
Mhm,
loving, um, feeling to him,
mhm,
that very gentle, which is, kind of quite amazing, because, he's the big badass angel with the sword. And,
mhm,
we know stories of Michael, in combat for us. And, but you want to talk about just the love that comes from him. And he also will bring the most gentle visions to me. For me, and I think everybody can be this way, if you would tap into that childlike personality that you and we all have. I get a lot of visions. And Michael also, I'll share this one vision with you that I get quite often, when he talks about that it is about the journey and not the destination.
mhm,
That's a big one that he has to remind me of a lot.
mm,
Um, he has this dog that he shows me, and it's a big sheepdog, and the dog is made of sand. And big, all sand, but this big sheep-like dog with lots of hair. And when I see the dog is jumping around, real playful and it's almost like cartoon looking to me. And it's just a reminder from Michael, remember, we're here, we're trying to get your attention. You're not paying attention. So when I see the dog, it's like my sign with Michael, oh, you're trying to get my attention and I'm not paying attention. Um, but Michael can show up in many different forms in our lives. Um, it could be an orb, a big shadow. And I want to say, Jan, there's sometimes that I'll wake up during the night
Mm-hmm.
and my first reaction will be it's a feeling that we don't have 24/7. So when we feel them, our ego right away will filter it as fear. But
Mm-hmm.
remember, at the same time, fear and excitement, the feeling is so similar that we can take it as one way or another. Um, but I have woken up during the night and have had Michael standing right behind me, and I can see in my third eye this huge shadow right to my ceiling. And right away, I will get that feeling of fear. And then I'm like, oh, it's Michael. Calm down, Sheri. Um, he often just wants to remind me that he's there. Um, I feel like he's a very, very busy angel these days.
Mm-hmm.
And it would blow your mind for me to tell you the people that I have seen him around, even on TV. I have, watched the news. I try not to, but sometimes I do.
Yeah.
And I have seen, um, our higher officials. I've seen Michael standing next to them.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he's a very busy angel. Oh, and I want to share one other thing that a lot of people don't know, that Michael has his own band of angels. And I have called upon them, and I do quite often. I ask Michael to put his band of angels around my property,
Mm-hmm.
in my home,
Mm-hmm.
for protection when I travel quite often, even if I'm driving here you know, um, the home goods.
Mm-hmm.
If I get a feeling of uncertainty,
Mm-hmm.
I will say, thank you, Michael, for putting your band of angels around my car, getting my car safely to the store and back, and myself,
Mm-hmm.
and or whoever I think about that day.
Mm-hmm.
I can ask for a band of angels to go to my friends, my family, around their car, and they're just so happy to help.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Listen, Jan, I had an experience where I drove to Connecticut, and I had a feeling to ask for his band of angels for protection all the way there and all the way home. Well, we pulled off the interstate, pulled into Wilmington, and my car died. And
Mm-hmm.
that's after a 13, 14-hour drive, and was able to pull into a parking lot. And I said, it's okay, I'm home.
Mm-hmm.
AAA will take it from here.
Mm-hmm.
But I've been proven so many times. I had an experience where when we first bought the house here, I was a little tired of spirits following me home as a medium. And so when we moved into this house, I said, I'm not going to have that anymore. And sitting in my back patio, I can see my front gate from there, and seeing a young man with a hat on the other side of the gate. And I said, I'm sorry, but you can't come back here. And so I don't know, it might have been a few days or a week later, a neighbor down the street came over and was telling me how a young man had passed a few houses down from my house, and blah 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 blah. And so I then knew who it was. Of course, I said a prayer for him, but I do like to sleep at night, and if I'm going to wake up during the night, I would like it to be with my relatives or those that I know or the angels, right? So,
Yeah.
um, but Michael is, like I said, his colors. Some people see blue. Um, I see purple, and I'm telling you, you call him in during your meditations,
Mhm.
and if you start seeing the colors purple, you've got him. He is. I don't think I have ever called him in where I haven't gotten proof that he's there. He wants us to know that he is there, and they can work with thousands at one time. That's the first thing that people say to me, Jan, is how is that possible? You
Mhm.
just told so and so that that's his guardian. And listen, when I say that they are our guardians, I mean that you can call any one of them in for what they are known to do, but we are and will, the more you connect to these angels, feel more of a connection
Right.
to one of them, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a good sign that that's your that's your guardian, if you will. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like a relationship. We form
It's
that
a relationship.
relationship. Yeah.
Right, exactly. And Jan, you will, the more you learn about these angels, you'll learn that it's almost like it's who you are, Jan,
Right.
right? It's like Raphael is the healing angel.
Hmm.
There are many healers out there, Reiki masters,
Hmm.
transformational healers that really resonate with Raphael.
Hmm.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And
Exactly.
so, the signs are all there, and you can look up. Um, it's like the fairies. There are water fairies, there are air fairies, there are land fairies,
Hmm.
fire fairies, and so you'll find what really resonates with you. Like my fairy family, they are water fairies. I am definitely about water. When I moved here
Hmm.
to North Carolina, my psychic abilities, you want to talk about heightened. It was like, wow. And so, you know, when you feel a connection to one of these angels, read, study, call
Hmm.
them in, you know, uh, get an astrology reading.
Hmm.
It will
Hmm.
blow your mind. And uh, there's incredible readers out there in the astrology field. I know one who I think she's just incredible. So if anybody wants to get her information, I can get it out to you too. And I'm sure you know people um,
Hmm.
that we can connect them to. But
We can.
um, really learn about a specific angel before maybe pull in five if you really want to bring them strong into your life. That's one thing that I really do stress to people.
Let's give let's sum this week up with giving some more ideas and tips and um, such. So, calling in a specific angel to form a relationship, that's one. I think there's
Right.
also something that I want to say around how information can be confusing. Because what I know happens when we research anything, and is true for angels, is there can be, like you were saying with the colors, so much information about something that if you're looking up information about an angel and you see, oh, wait a minute, but he might not be an archangel, he might be a seraphim or a cherubim, and what I know about that is it doesn't matter.
Right.
Those details, the angels don't care about. They care about helping us.
Right.
Um,
Hmm.
so like what you were saying about, what I call personality, that's what I want to say in our conversation about angels in this episode is
Right.
getting the relationship going with our angels is what really matters here. And
Absolutely.
spreading that joy with our relationship is what we will really benefit all the way around, both personally and collectively, in the way that we live our life and the
Right.
way that the world goes on. So that's one thing that I really want to make a point about. What else do we have to share about ideas and tips of communicating?
I love, Jan, like you had said before, the oracle cards are,
Yes.
it's Jan and I were talking before the show, and you had brought up the oracle cards, and Jan, so wonderful. I have, before the shutdown, had told a client, get some oracle cards.
Hmm.
Her dead relative gave me the message to give to her.
Oh.
I'm telling you, she has been blowing my phone up with excitement. With all that's going on, this woman's life has changed. And she's been using the oracle cards because, um, trust in the angels are going to help you to pick the right message that day. And the reason I love the oracle cards is, well, one, they're all positive.
Exactly.
And it can really make a difference to get a deck and pull 1, 2, or 3 cards for yourself every day. Because remember, these angels are in a very high vibration of love.
Hmm.
They come from love and the utmost positive way of thinking. And so when we keep our vibration as high as we can, as positive as we can, it is love. And the connection that you make with these angels is going to be stronger.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
love the oracle card idea, candles,
Yep. Your
that,
candles.
of course, right? um, Setting ourselves up for, like, the ceremony.
Hmm.
It's that relaxing, that peaceful environment that you're
Hmm.
setting up, um, is so important when you're calling in these absolute beautiful, loving beings.
Yeah. And I really think, what prohibits it is the doubt. Is that really an angel? Am
Right.
I making this up? I can't be seeing, or I didn't really see an angel, so it must not be true. It's just something I made up in my head. And not
Right.
everybody sees physical angels. It's like you said earlier. The angels think we worry about that stuff too much, but we
Oh,
might
yeah.
see, quote unquote, see a light, we might not. We might smell a fragrance, we might not. But there, we each receive information in our own way. Our bodies and
Yeah.
minds and spirits are all individual to us. And so we're going to get our information in our own way. So I think that confidence
Right.
builds the more we just allow, like you said, that peaceful time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Be a child. Believe me.
Yes.
It's those, the little touches,
Hmm.
from these angels. They might send you a scent,
Hmm.
you know, that's where it is. And
Hmm.
it's, if you are keeping it to yourself, if it's between you and the angels,
Hmm.
then do not waste your time wondering if it's real. It's a waste of time.
Yeah.
Just go with it.
Yep.
They will prove it to you. I had a client call me yesterday who listened to, I did a show the other day on Facebook, and said there's so many people working with Metatron right now. It's unreal to me. And we're talking about his tickles and birds. This client is like, locked in her bedroom, 11-hour days doing work, and there's a cardinal that's pecking at her window who's not leaving. Every day the angel is, or the bird is there. And prior to this and watching my video, she wondered if Metatron had been around because her legs had been tingling. So she heard the video and she was like, oh my God, it is Metatron. it's the bird. It's Metatron saying, she's having a hard time. But if she looks at that bird, you know, for 2 minutes every 15 minutes, she is thinking positive and about Metatron. If that's the best she can do that day, then hooray,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And she's
Yeah. Oh gosh, yeah.
believing it
Hmm.
because she has a very intense job and it is hard for her to be thinking positive and with the angels every minute of the day. But there they are, knowing what they can do for her, and they are doing it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's huge.
It is
It's huge for her,
huge. Yeah, and every one of us, you and I, Sherry, and everyone listening, if we can just take even a second in our day to think of people that might be struggling. We all have good days and we all have bad days. And hearing even about your client having a hard time, my heart hurts hearing that. So if we can send
Yes.
anybody and everyone who has those hard moments up some peace,
Right.
that helps too. So may we all
Yes.
do that throughout our day also.
Yes, please do. And, call on Shamuel. Send Shamuel to, those that are having a hard time. I mean, listen, Jan, I think that you would agree with me that you and I know we're here to uplift people. That's why we're doing this show.
Yep. Yep.
And, we're not trying to pretend anything or that
Gosh, no.
what we're going through isn't hard. We know that. Um, but if we can find peace, even 5 minutes on the hour of our day, let's take it and use it.
Absolutely. Yep.
And, you know,
And no one is exempt. And that's the point, and we're, like you said, we're not pretending. So we're doing what we can. And
right.
that's a lot. It may not feel like it in the moment, but it is a lot for each of us.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
So with the angels'
Yep.
help, it can be easier. So
Yep.
let's sign off with that hopeful message for now and
Right.
wish everybody to tune in and be well and stay well. Until next time.
My guest today is Leslie Jane Seymour. Many of you may know her from her acclaimed career in magazine publishing, where she established herself as one of the industry's, if not one of our culture's, most respected leaders. Her experience in the media industry began early. Before her leading roles as editor-in-chief, she worked as beauty director of Glamour and senior editor at Vogue. She went on to be editor-in-chief of Marie Claire, Redbook, and YM. Under her leadership, they were all reshaped and transformed into something not only bigger, but greater. Most recently, until February 2016, she served as editor-in-chief of More magazine, where she notably won hundreds of awards and created history by having First Lady of the United States, Michelle Obama, guest edit an entire issue. Beyond print, she used information and education she had access to at the magazines to call attention to issues that impact women around the world. Just a few of the programs she became involved in include domestic violence. She spearheaded Time to Talk Day in Congress to raise awareness, One World, One Wish for international relief campaign Save the Children, World Food Program. She brought Drew Barrymore to Kenya to shine a spotlight on the issue of rising hunger and the barriers to education for girls. Domestic violence in the Latino community. She took the Marie Claire magazine team to walk alongside with Salma Hayek down the Washington Mall. And she traveled to Japan and Cambodia with First Lady Michelle Obama to cover the launch of Let Girls Learn, Obama's program to help girls around the world get a better education. And that's just a glimmer of her past professional background. As for what she's doing now, we're going to talk to her about that. But she's taken her expertise, knowledge, and experience and established Covey Club. an online offline club for lifelong learners who want to continue connecting, reinventing, and impacting the world. She's a sustainability expert, getting her master's at Columbia, continuing to learn yet more herself. And let's hear now more from Leslie.